A fire erupts this morning at a Lanham elementary school. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, a scary start of the day for hundreds of students at a Lanham elementary school. This after a fire broke out above the boiler room. Firefighters responded to Gaywood Elementary on 9th Avenue this morning after getting calls about smoke spewing from the furnace room. When they arrived, they discovered a fire between the roof and ceiling over that area.
It took them about 15 to 20 minutes to get to the fire. It's very work intensive, removing portions of the roof and portions of the ceiling from underneath to get to the fire to extinguish it. Again, it took them about 15 or 20 minutes to do so. A lot of damage in that area, due to that work removing the roof and ceiling.
Injury?
Fortunately, no injuries occurred. Again, it was a very orderly evacuation of the students, and firefighters did their job without being injured.
No word yet on whether or not classes will resume at the school tomorrow. Well, as people get older, they often face health challenges that affect their driving. So AAA says it wants to ensure that senior citizens have vehicles equipped with tools that can accommodate their needs. There are a number of steps they can take to help with everything from diminished vision to arthritis.
You see them, how they clutch the steering wheel or how they drive, and they maybe have come of age when low riding was very popular, and if you're 60 and you're still trying to low ride, you're putting yourself in harm's way, and other drivers too. So we have a thing called CarFit that makes you properly adjust your windows, your mirrors, your seatbelt. Make sure that you're in the right position so that the airbag, when it comes out, doesn't hurt you and those kinds of things. That's important.
And Towson also says AAA is highlighting the problem and solutions as part of Older Driver Awareness Week, which runs until December 7th. Meanwhile, just over 80% of teenagers nationwide have confessed to driving and texting, but the National Organization for Youth Safety is hoping to have an impact on that number with its annual summit. This is the fourth year for the event, which specifically focused on texting while behind the wheel. Some of the young people got a chance to see how dangerous that can be on a driving simulator.
My problem was when I got a text message, I'd slow down because my brain responds, okay, I'm going to slow down and stop, but I couldn't actually do that if I was actually in traffic. So it was quite terrifying to realize what people are going through when they're trying to text and drive.
The main goal for the teens coming here is that they learn from each other. Many of the states have different laws, so they're learning about what those laws are, and now they need to take this back home. They need to make it fit with the laws of their state and how they can educate their peers that this is a risk not worth taking. So the passion that we've heard from these youth going back to their community is very inspirational. These youth are ready to go back and really make an impact in their states.
And the summit has focused on other driving distractions in past years, including changing the radio and having too many passengers in a vehicle. About 100 young people from 20 states and the District of Columbia attended the summit. Well, did you know that today marks the 20th anniversary of the very first text message ever sent to a mobile phone? The first short messaging service, or SMS text message, was sent by British engineer Neil Papworth to a friend on December 3, 1992. That forever changed the way that people around the world communicate with each other. Students at Bowie State University momentarily put down their phones to talk with us about today's text generation.
Yeah, because it's easy. It's easy to do. You just text and you're on your way. You just wait for the reply. Sometimes it's easier to do that instead of calling people and trying to get in contact with people on the dime because not everybody's available.
How many text messages would you say you send a day?
Oh God, a day? Probably like a few hundred. That's so sad to say.
Can you imagine living at a time when there wasn't text messaging?
No, absolutely not.
What would that be like for you?
I wouldn't know how to communicate, I guess. Like when you're not with somebody, how else would you communicate with them,
It's kind of not personal to me. It's a lack of intimacy, not sex-wise, but, just relationships, emotions, and you don't really get that feel when you're texting someone, so I don't really like it, but.
So you only send text messages when you have?
And in case you were wondering, that very first text message read, "Merry Christmas." Well, detectives in Laurel are aggressively investigating a string of tire slashing incidents. 17 cars were vandalized Friday night at 3 separate locations. According to police, the crimes happened between 11 and 11:30 p.m., impacting patrons and employees of the restaurants and bars in that area. Spokesman Pete Peringer says police are reviewing surveillance video from cameras.
Friday night, we received a call from the Sportsman's Pub, which is located on Washington Boulevard near Main Street, that they had some cars that were vandalized. When the police officers arrived, they found that they had some tires slashed. In fact, 5 cars had their tires slashed. As the police were gathering information on that, and a short while later, they were notified that they had an additional tire slashed a couple blocks away at the AMF bowling lanes, which is located along Route 1. As the officers went to investigate that circumstance, they found that they actually had about a dozen or so more tires slashed in the parking lot of the Laurel Station, which of course is a nightclub. So all in a close proximity. We believe they're all related in some way.
And Laurel Police did detain and charge a man on an unrelated outstanding warrant who they say matched the description of a possible suspect. He has not been charged in the slashing case, however. Detectives are looking into several other descriptions given by people at the scene. Anyone who may have information is asked to call the city tip line at 301-498-7645. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone.